Hi everyone, this is Sheila and we're about to do a stretch body awareness class. We're going to start with some energy producing energy medicine exercise here. So from here, we've got our feet in a parallel position underneath our hips, and we're going to start to tap our cheeks. This exercise was developed by Donna Eaton, an energy medicine pioneer here in the United States. So we're tapping our cheek bones here. And then we're going to move down towards just underneath our collarbone on either side. There's little divots there, and we're going to thumb those as well. And this is all, these are all points that intersect with the meridians that will help bring in some more energy into your physical body. And then we're going to go into our sternum area. And you're going to be tapping there and feeling a little vibration in the bone there. This is our thymus. This helps to boost our immune system as well as driving more energy. And then we're going to go out to the sides of our armpits, about an arm's width down, and start thumping there. And these points might be a little tender. These are points that connect up with the meridian that helps you to metabolize food, drink, thoughts, emotions, experiences. So if it's a little tender in there, you might think back to what you just ate or drank more recently, or events that might have happened for you recently. Okay, we're going to let that go, and you'll find in about 20 minutes or so, 15 to 20 minutes, that you have a little more energy. Let's start with our arms up, and we're going to start to take some swings side to side, but our knees are bent, so we stabilize our lower body, and this works from above the waist. So we're going to drop down, swing up and around, drop, swing up and around. Try not to let the hips go with you, but just allow the upper body to make that twist. And as the arms swing, they help you twist there, and keep it going up and around, and down, up and around. Good. Coming up right. We're going to replicate the same kind of activity there, but just take your hand on the shoulder, the opposite shoulder, and bring it down and across. And down and across. Down and across. Keep going. This actually should feel kind of fun and nice and comforting. And we're going to take it once more on each side from here. Down and across. And down and across. Good. Arms come up. Let's swing. We're going to bend out the hips, drop the head down as the knees bend, drop, curve the back, and come up. And let's take that a little bit more quickly. So we have drop, rebound, and up. Drop, rebound, and up. Two more. Drop it down. Let that head go. And up. And drop it down. And come up. Good. Moving to the diagonal, we're going to work just with the right arm. Again, feet are right underneath the hips there. Lifting the arm up, we're taking a one-arm swing. Drop down and up. And from here, we're going to bend, push the hips forward, arch to the back, twist to that arm, and come up. Drop it down and lift. Bring it down as the knees bend, twist to the side, reaching way out with that right arm, and up. Two more. Drop down, let the head go, lift. Bend, push through, reach, all the way to the back, and up. Once more. Drop. And bend, push through, reach, out, and up. Good, let's take it to the other side. Left arm, and swing. Down, head is loose. Come up. Drop it down, bend the knees, reach to the back, and come up right. And swing, and lift. Bend down, push through, reach to that diagonal, up, and lift. Two more, swing, and lift. Drop down, reach, feel that diagonal, stretch out, and up, and drop, and lift. Bend down, stretch, push, reach, and come up, right, excellent. Let's go into a Y position now. And we're going to wrap our right hand around our waist and reach the left arm over to the side. Good. We're going to take this on either side a couple of times, and then we'll add a little variation. Reach, opening up the side body, coming up and over and reach. Good. Come up and over and reach. Now we'll add a variation, so we're going to come up and over and reach. Now from here, we're going to twist our upper body, keeping our hips still, and reach to the diagonal, and then open to the side. Repeat, reach to the diagonal. So you're stretching that hand out as far as you can, and then to the side. 2 more. Reaching out. Now as you reach to the diagonal, you notice you're stretching your upper back in a slightly different way than we've done so far. And reach, 4th one. And side. Good. Coming up and over. Let's take it to the other side. So you're taking your plain stretch here. And now reaching to the diagonal. It's above the waist position, so you're reaching through the above the waist there and to the side. 3 more. Reach out to that diagonal position and side. And you notice hips are staying front. And reach. So it's almost a twist or a wringing out of that upper spine and side. And reach it out, way out there. And side. Good. Coming up, we're going to do another variation on that. Reaching to the side. Going to your diagonal. Now swing that arm behind you. Look at it. Up and over to the diagonal. Still hips stay front. Reach out. Lift. Up and around. Reach out. Lift. Up. Around. And again. Last time. Out. Lift. Up to that diagonal, and then once more to the side. Good, coming up, right. Your upper body's getting a good, nice workout there. Reaching to the side, to your diagonal, as your lower body is really maintaining its position there. Reach up and around to that diagonal, and down. Reach it behind, lift, opening up in that whole armpit and shoulder area. Drop down, lift, up and over. Good. Drop down. Lift. Up and over. Good. Coming up right and release. Just shake those shoulders out. You're going to find that you really have a lot of movement now in terms of energy, blood, chi in your upper body. Let's start moving into the lower body. So let's just gently bend the knees out to the side. And come upright. If you feel like you need to inch out with those feet so you have a wider position, you can. Keeping the upper body back straight. And lift. Again, bend down. And straight. Good. Just saying hello to those legs. Bend and straighten. Good. Let's go back to our side stretch here with the hand wrapping around, but add the right knee. Bend. And straighten out, pushing hip out to the side. Bend the knee out over the toe. Feel that side stretch, but the legs are also working, and you're pushing into the left hip. And bend. Good. And press and stretch. Good. And last time, bend. Inhale. Exhale and press. Coming up and over. So we're integrating that upper body with lower body side stretch. Bend that knee, left knee. Good. Inhale and stretch and press the hip out. And breathe. Inhale. And exhale and stretch. 2 more. Bend. Inhale. Exhale. See if you can get a little more over to the side as you press out through that hip. Good. And last time. Bend. Inhale. And exhale and stretch and come upright. Let's bring our hands up to our shoulders, and we're going to slide our hands down the side as we go into the bend knee position and push out with our hands against the knees as the hips come forward. Upper body stays still, straight up. We have 4 of these. Sliding down the sides of the body, reach and out. You can get a little farther over there. And up and slide, bend, stretch. Keep those knees going out, pressing the hips down, good. And lift. And up to the shoulders once more. And come down, slide, and press. Way out with those knees. Excellent. Coming back up. And then let's heel toe in. And take a little bit of work with the hips, but also still stretching. So we've got our heels and toes right underneath our hips. reaching the arms up, and we're gonna bend the knees. Now, we're gonna press the right hip down as we reach up with the right arm. And we can release that left arm if we want to. And come to neutral. Press the hip down as you reach with the hand up. And neutral. Breathe, press down. You're getting a good side opening here. And release. And press out, pushing down. And release. Let's bring the other arm up and reverse it. So we're pressing down with the left hip, up with the left arm. And so we're getting a side stretch here, but you may also feel that you're getting a little bit of a tilt in the lower back. And you're starting to open up that lower back, the lumbar region some. And release. And press, hip down, arm up. And release, once more. And hip down. And arm up. Good. Release it and let's straighten. Let's take the same thing in a wide position. It's gonna feel a little bit different, but we're gonna start with bent knees. It's not super bent there, but we are gonna tilt the hip down as we reach the right arm up. So here we go. And tilt that right hip down as you reach the arm up. And now you may find a stretch in the inside thigh as well as the movement in your lower back. And release. And press it down with the hip, arm up. And release. 2 more. Press it down, reach, and release. And press it down and reach, and release. Good. Other side. Pressing the left hip down as you reach the left arm up. Feeling the little stretch you get there on the inside thigh. And release. And obviously we're getting some work through those legs as we use them to stabilize us. And release. Breathe. Press the hip down as the arm goes up. And release. And press it down. And release. Good. Let's straighten up. Let's bring our feet back into a position underneath our hips there. And let's do a little more hip work. And we're going to reach the hip up with a straight leg here. Bring it into center. And then push it out to the side. And you may really feel an IT band stretch there. So we're just going hip up, straightening the leg, down, center, and out. 2 more. And hip up as you straighten that leg, it tilts, come center, and push out in that bent knee position. And last one, reach it up, really stretching out through here, center, and out. Good. Let's go to the other side. So we're straightening out the left leg as we push the hip up to the left. And then come to center, and now push it out to the side. Slowly opening up that IT band area. Good. And now straighten the left leg up as the hip goes up. You're going to tilt there, and center, and push it directly to the side out. Good. And straighten the left leg as the hip comes up. Center, push it out. Really push it out as far as you can. And center, and last one, way up. Good. Come to center, and way out. Excellent. And come to center, and come upright. We're going to turn to the side and go to the side of your mat. And we're going to just work through the feet a bit. You can put your hands on your hips here. We're going to bend the knee and lift the heel of the front leg up. Pressing through the hip, the heel goes towards the front there. And you're pressing through that instep and straighten. Let's reverse it to the other side. Press and stretch and lift. Press and stretch through the foot and straighten. Press in, push the heel and straighten. The rest of your body staying nice and tall. Push out and lift and push the back foot out and straighten. And repeat one last step. Front foot. And straighten, and back foot, and straighten. Good. Let's take a few squats. We're going to take them with our arms at our hips here. So we're bending and pushing out to the back. We're in a parallel position and up. Oftentimes we do it with a wider position in our legs and up. So we're folding at the hips and then pushing through the feet and using the glutes to get you back up and push back. And up. Let's take 4 more of those. push out. See if you can get the hips farther behind the heels there. And straighten. And holding onto the abs. And straighten. Good. And push out. And straighten. And push out. And straighten. Now we're going to add those feet that we just worked on as we do the squats. So front leg is lifting up as you press the hips back. And straighten. Now the back foot. And press back. And straighten. Push. Front foot. And straighten. And back. Pushing hips back. And up. Keep going. Push. And up. And push back. And lift. Push back with the hips as the heel lifts. And up. And push it back. And lift. Good. Still feeling that crease in the front of the hips that we just were experiencing in our squats. We're going to lift the leg up using the foot and pointing it. So foot and down. Foot and down. Lift up and down and lift. Let's take 4 more. Push with the foot. Down. Lift. Down. Up. Down. Lift. And down. So we're trying to warm the body up, and let's keep the head going down. Now that we are a bit warmer, we may be able to articulate our spine quite well. So let's roll down, keeping the legs straight as long as you can. When you need to bend them, you certainly can. Dropping hands down, feeling what's going on in the back of the legs there. Head is loose. So again, if your knees are bent, that's fine. And let's roll back up again. So holding onto the abdominals, pushing through the lower back. If your knees were bent, you're going to slowly straighten them as you come up, rolling through that spine, lifting through the shoulders, neck, and head. Let's repeat that. Rolling down, chin to chest, trying to open up the spaces in between the vertebrae in your spine as you go down. Each time you're aiming towards more of a straight leg as you go down, but I want to make sure that you're not holding your weight with your lower back. So if you find yourself doing that hump, you need to bend your knees and push through so that you've got a full, true fold from creasing from the hips there. So from here, rolling back up, lift, all the way up. Maybe you can feel like you're getting a little bit more openness in that whole spine. 2 more sets. Chin down, rolling, engaging the abdominals, coming down through the spine, and then we switch so we fold from the hips so we can get a little lower position with our bodies, our upper bodies, and then coming back up, rolling, holding onto the abdominals, lift, opening up through that spine, coming up right, lift, and head. And we have 1 more. So here we go, rolling down. Press through so that you're really trying to feel more opening in your spine, the back of your spine, all the way down. Drop, hang, shake out a little bit here. Notice how far down you are, and then let's come back up, rolling up through the spine, lift, and coming to your upright position. Good. Excellent. Let's move into the center of our mats now. We're going to take a parallel position that's very, very wide. And we're going to bend the right knee out over the toe and straighten. And bend out over the toe and straighten. Bend out, and as you bend, see if you can get a little lower and see if you feel stretched through the inside thigh of the other leg, and straighten and bend. And straighten. Let's go to the other side. Bend. And straighten, and bend, and straighten. Keep the back straight, bend, and straighten, and bend. Now let's switch from one side to the other. So we're going to bend over. Our weight has to shift a little bit over to that side, straighten, and it shifts to the other side. Coming up and over and bend. See if you can lower the knee a little bit more to get a little more stretch in the inside thigh. Up and bend. Good. And up, and then this is our 3rd set. Really stretching there, up. Feel the inside thigh, stretching, 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 good. Come up and bend, good. Come upright and bend. and come up right. Okay, we're going to take a little bit of an aerobic exercise using those muscles. So from here, we're lifting up and drop, out and down. Come back together. Other side. Up and out and lift. Up and out, push and lift. Up and out and push. Let's add an arm. So arms move up and push and up and push through that leg and up. Push it out. Good. Lift it up. Push it out. Now we're going to twist with our upper body. Up. Twist and reach. And come up. Twist and reach. Lift it up. Twist and reach. Good. Lift it up. Twist and reach. Good. Coming up right. Let's come into a parallel first position. And then roll down again. All the way through the spine as we did when we were at the end of the mat. Heads down and just hang. From here, gently bend the knees, sticking the butt out so you're really getting a crease in the hips there. Inhaling, and then exhale and straighten. Heads go down. Again, bend, inhale. Exhale and straighten. So we're really getting into the hamstrings and the legs here. Bend, inhale. Exhale. Press the hips up. Last time. Bend. Inhale. Exhale. And straighten. Good. Bend the knees slightly, rolling up through the spine. Lift and come up. Right. We're going to repeat the same thing with a wider position. Slightly wider than your hips. And rolling down. Chin. All the way down. Feel that spine opening up. And then you switch to the hips there. If your legs are slightly bent as you go down, that's fine. That's where you are today. Let that head be nice and loose. And let's take a bend. Inhale. Exhale. And stretch. Pushing those hips up to the ceiling. Bend. Inhale. Exhale. Push and stretch. Hips go up. Heads go down. Two more. Bend. Inhale. Exhale. Push the hips up. Heads go down. Feel the stretch in hamstring. And bend. Inhale. Exhale. Stretch. Lift those hips up. Heads go down. Good. Bend the knees. Let's roll up through our spine. Again, feeling the opening, the increased opening that we're feeling in our spine area. And come up right. Good. This time we're going to go into quite a wide position here. And we're going to repeat that whole exercise. So from here, roll down, chin to the chest. Upper back is getting a nice curve, sliding down, reaching towards the floor, feeling then that you're not holding on to that lower back, that you're really folding from the hips, and heads are dropped. We're going to bend the knees out over the toes, which make you activate the thighs and the outside of the thighs and glutes a bit, and stretch up. Bend, inhale. Keeping the knees going out over the toes as much as you can. And stretch. Heads go down. Two more. Bend. Inhale. Exhale. Press those hips up. Heads go down. And last one. Bend. Inhale. And exhale. And stretch. And let's really feel our bodies going down towards the floor. Hips straight up. You may find that your head feels like it's getting more into the center through your legs there. That's what we're aiming towards. And now let's gently walk our hands over to that right leg. We're going to put our hands on the outside of that right foot so you get a nice side-body stretch there. Again, if you need to have your knees slightly bent or you need to hold somewhere on the outside of the legs or the foot, that's fine. Hips stay as far forward as you can, facing forward. So you get this nice hip back here on the left side and this nice stretch through the left torso side. Head is down, as well as, of course, you're getting a stretch on your right hamstring here. Heads are down. Now, we're going to increase this, and if this feels like it's too much, you can just stay right in this position. But if you can, make sure that you've got the left hand crossing over and you've got a nice solid position there without your hips
doing any kind of twist, you're going to lift that right arm up and reach it to the sky. Feeling the twist happen in the upper body. Bring the arm down. Again, bending the elbow, breathing, extend, and reach. Maybe you get that arm a little further back, but you've still got your left hip in place. Coming forward and down. Third time, elbow bends, lift, reaching back. So you've got a twist in the upper part of your body. And come back down. Good. And last time, lift it up, reach, twist, and open that arm. Excellent. And coming down. Let's come to the center, and we're going to bend our knees and roll up through our spines, allowing our arms to come up. And head is the last thing up.
So you're going to find that the side that we had reached down really got the big stretch, that left side, and we're going to do it to the other side. But let's, once again, roll the chin down,
bend, upper body over, rolling through, dropping down, and let's put our hands down once again. From here, make sure that your hips are not back behind your heels like you did in a squat. We're trying to stay more forward. And let's once again take a bent knee position, trying to drive the knees out over the toes, which will do some action, as I said, in the back and the outside of the thighs. And straighten as the head goes down, trying to drop the head a little bit closer to the floor. And bend, inhale. Exhale, press the hips up. Heads go down. Two more. Bend, inhale. Exhale, push up. Heads are dropped, shoulders are loose. And last time, bend, inhale. And then exhale, pushing the hips up, heads go down. You may find that your elbows are getting much closer towards the floor, and they should be slightly bent there. From this position, we're walking our bodies, our hands, our upper bodies over to the other side. So we've got both hands on the outside of the left leg. This right hip now is going to be anchored back so that the hips are facing front. And the upper body is getting that nice twist. Feeling that lengthening through the side body on the right side, but also the lengthening in the hamstring on the left leg. Heads are down. Now anchoring yourself with that right hand across behind on the other side of the foot. And again, you can have it on any part of the body there that you may need it to be. And we're going to now lift the left elbow up, twist, and reach the arm behind you. Trying to press with the right hand on the floor to give you a twist there. Good. And then allow the arm come down. Bring it up. Elbow, twist, and reach. And maybe you can get that arm over your head a little bit farther behind so you get more of a twist in the chest. Really lengthening and opening up. And coming down. Two more. We have lift. Make sure you're breathing. Stretch. And reach, feel that twist. And come down. And last time, lift it up, reach, and twist. See how far back you can get that arm. You may use a little pressure on the right hand on the floor to help you twist. And then drop the hand down. Let's come back to your center position. And just hang for a moment. Good. From here, let's bring our hands out in front of us a bit so that now we've got a little stretch through the calves and the Achilles. So you're pressing the hips forward, trying to keep your heels on the floor. And then push back using your pressure of the hands. So we're taking a rocking motion, coming forward, heels stay on the floor, trying to get the hips forward so you're stretching the lower part of the legs. And then push back. Two more of those. Coming forward. Keeping the heels on the floor as the hips come forward. And then press it back. Reach. And last time. Coming forward. Feel the hips coming forward. Legs are straight as you can get them to be. Heels are still on the floor. And you feel that nice opening in the lower part of the leg. And then press back. Lengthen the spine. And now walk the hands in. And let's turn towards the right. So your right leg is rotating out. And your left leg is going to stay right where it is. And we're going to just bend down and get, again, a stretch on the inside thigh. So this foot is staying facing front. And this leg is rotated out. And pushing up from there, straightening the leg. So now we've got a rotated out stretch on that right leg. The left leg is staying parallel towards the front. And again, bend and keeping this leg nice and straight. You're trying to feel the inside thigh stretch that happens there. Good. Push and straighten the right leg up, trying to drape the body over. And bend. So we're kind of doing an asymmetrical stretch here. The legs are doing a different kind of stretch from the other one. And press and straighten, head is down. Good. Last time. Bend, rotating the knee out over the toe as it bends on the right side, but feeling the inside body, inside thigh stretch here on the left leg. And come back up. Right. Good. From here, let's rotate that right foot. So now it's in a parallel position, facing straight forward. And now we're going to rotate the left leg. And we're going to bend over and feel the inside thigh stretch here on the right side. And then straightening up, letting the body drop over that left leg and increasing the stretch on the left hamstring. Repeat, knee goes out over the toe, feel the inside of the thigh on the right side getting a stretch. And you might find that you get a little more of a stretch on the right side because we did the stretch previously. And our bodies sometimes instinctively know what needs to be done. So they help us. Bend. Here's our third time. You're adjusting your hands as you do this inside thigh. Stretch it out. Good. And straighten, dropping the body over the left. Head is nice and loose. Make sure your shoulders are loose and your head is loose. You're not holding any tension there. And then once more, knee goes out as you press. Inside thigh of the right leg out. You might even feel it on the inside thigh of the left leg there, of the bent knee position. And then push that hip up, dropping the body over the left leg. And feel that nice stretch. Good. From here, we're going to rotate the right foot out in a parallel line with the left one, so we can have the feet going in the same direction and we're in our lunge position here. Really feeling that hip dropping down towards the floor as the leg maintains a straight position. Opening up the hip. Drop the knee down, toe releases, and gently push the left hip back. So we're straightening the front leg, foot is pointed, elbows are down, and head is dropped. Coming forward, press the back hip, the right hip forward. And then again, push the left hip back, straightening the leg, trying to maintain a pointed foot on that left leg, opening up even more in the hamstring on the left side. And come up and forward with the right hip, pressing the hip forward, really opening up through there. And third time, pushing the left hip back, reaching. This time you might get a little farther out, so even though your foot is pointed, the toes are not quite on the floor anymore. And last time, push through. Back hip is going forward. And push back with the left hip, reaching out behind as far as you know, foot point, and lowering the body down so you're getting a complete stretch through the hamstring, from the top of the hamstring where it inserts into the derriere area, all the way down through the back of the thighs, and then into maybe the knee area. Good. Come back forward, pressing the back hip forward. Let's curl the toe under and press. Good. Now we're going to rotate out, We're in a familiar position here, but our leg is rotated out and we're going to press down just for a moment. So now the stretch is in a rotated position here, and you're really feeling that. Good. Come up, straighten the legs, and we're going to rotate the back heel. So we go into a lunge on the opposite side. Pressing that hip forward on the back leg, opening up, feeling that stretch that should be happening in this whole hip flexor area. And then we're going to gently release that knee down and toe. Let's go. You're still pressing that hip forward. And we're going to push back with that front leg. So we've got that front hip pushing back, lengthening out through the hamstring there, reaching. Head is dropped. You're folding from the hip flexor on that front leg, lengthening. And then come up and forward. Feel this hip really get a nice good stretch there as it goes forward. Breathing and press the front hip back, folding over that leg. And this second time you may find you feel like you're getting more of a stretch there, that you've lengthened out into different parts of the hamstring. Foot is still pointed, and come up and forward. Press that hip forward. Really feel how much more openness you can get there. Letting that hip drop and sort of hang off so you can open it up in the hip flexor area. Let's come back, press the hip back all the way as far as you can. This time, a third time, you may find that your hip is able to move so far back that your toes come slightly off the floor, even though the foot is still pointed. Your legs might start shaking a little bit. And come up and forward. Breathe that hip forward. And last time, push back with the front hip. Reaching it back, lengthening, feeling your fold happening at the front of the hips there, at the hip flexors. Your spine might feel like it's getting a little bit farther over that leg. Foot is really pointed. The leg might shake. And coming up and forward. Good. And let's go back into that lunge. We're going to take that rotated stretch on the inside thigh, like we did on the other side. So we're rotating, turn that leg out, and you're pressing the left hip down, so you're getting a nice inside thigh stretch there. Good. Okay, from there, find a way to come to the floor gracefully. And let's sit up nice and tall with our backs nice and straight. We're going to take our right leg and cross it and put it underneath the left leg. There is some space here between the heel and the hip. Then take your left leg, cross it over, and lift up high on that left hip. So you're sort of feeling like your weight is more on this foot in front of you. We're sitting up nice and tall. We're going to take our left arm, reach it up, bring it to the inside of the left thigh there, and using the hand to press against it, we're going to twist. Right arm is behind to help you get into this twist and give you some support. So you're feeling this in many different areas, but it's working a lot in the spine. Come back to center, and we're going to take the reverse. So the right arm is coming and bracing against the back of the thigh there. Left arm helps you twist, and you're sliding this hand through so you can twist through the body. Good. Just really sort of opening up. It should almost feel like a massage. And then come back to the center. We're maintaining this left hip up. Make sure that that heel really isn't right underneath you. And we're going to take our right hand, fold it at the elbow there. Hug the knee in to your chest with your back straight. And right away, you'll feel some stretch through here in the leg. And then we're going to reach the arm out and increase that stretch. And it's a little tug of war here. We're going to try and press the hip down, but you're also pulling with the elbow there. So the hip always will win, but you can feel that increased stretch that happens in the outside of that leg. Good, all the way down. The hip
as I say, always wins. And then release the leg, and let's cross the leg a little bit more, feeling the openness in this thigh here. And we're gonna rotate our upper body towards the knee that's supporting this top leg, keeping the hip down. And we're gonna slightly roll down through the spine. You'll feel where we're having a stretch here in the front hip area. It will become obvious right away. Dropping down and just holding it. You may find that the foot that's being balanced by that knee starts to wiggle a little bit because it's a deep inside hip stretch that this position allows us to get into in the top leg. And then slowly roll yourself up. And then uncurl that leg. And let's put it to the front and just sort of shake the legs out, beat the thighs out. And you'll notice that the leg we worked on, that top leg, the left leg, feels a little different than the right one. So we're going to fix that so that they feel more balanced. So the knees come back up again, folding the left leg underneath the right. And the right comes over with the foot on the floor there. And we've got our hip lifted on the right side. And we've got the heel of the left foot far enough away that you wouldn't be sitting on it. So the hip is lifted. And we're going to take the right arm up, cross it on the inside of the left leg, using the left hand to help you. You're pressing against the leg with the right arm as you twist. Shoulders are down. You're just trying to increase the stretch and the openness in that whole spine area. Depending on what you've been doing, you might even feel it in your rib cage as it opens up. So there are many places you could feel it. You might even feel it in your neck. And come to the center. We're going to reverse that, bringing left arm up, placing it on the outside of the thigh there, knee, thigh area. Other hand helps to connect you and to support you. And so you're twisting and reaching that hand away as the body is getting a nice wringing out there, spiral position. And then come back to center. We're making sure that we're really high up on this right hip, grabbing the left elbow and hugging it into the knee there, back straight. And just by hugging that in, keeping the back straight, you're going to feel, again, that opening here in the glutes and the top of the thigh there. So keeping tall there. And then we're going to reach the arms out and go into our sort of tug of war. So holding in with that knee, but still pushing your weight into the hip. So the hip goes down towards the floor. You're going to find that it really does stretch out that gluteus area. Excellent. Hip wins, come up, slide the leg, top leg over, so it's a little bit more, ankles a little bit more onto that knee, back is straight. Twist the body, torso, and drop down towards that foot. And we're inching nice and slowly because this is, as we noticed the last time, a very deep stretch for the hips and the ligaments of the top leg. Breathing, letting the shoulders be loose, maybe wiggle them out a little bit, head loose, and just slowly lower and enjoy this deep stretch. And then slowly rolling yourself up. Sometimes the unwind of a stretch is just as important as the one where you start to go into the stretch. So be mindful of that. Let's get those legs out in front of us. Once again, let's beat the thighs out. Let's rock the hips. Good. Okay, here we go. We're going to bend the knees, bring one leg in front and the other behind. Divine flesh is outside of your sit bones there, so your back can be nice and straight. And let's just do some circles with our heads. Drop the heads down, chin to the chest, reaching over to your right, lifting the chin up to the ceiling, coming over to the left and down, keeping that spine nice and tall, reaching over, lifting up, shoulders are down, just opening up through the neck and down. Two more. Swing the head down. lift it up, breathing all the way around and down. One more, drop it down to the side, lift it up and to the other side. Let's go immediately in the opposite direction, so the chin goes down and you go to the left. Notice what happens in your neck. Maybe you feel that going in this opposite direction, that you can stretch out some other areas that didn't get stretched when we were going to the right. Lift, chin up, go to the side, and drop down. 2 more. Breathe. And lift all the way up to the side and down. And once more, reaching to the side. Lift it up, carry it to the side, all the way down, and coming up right. Okay, folks, thank you for joining me in this journey of stretching through the body. Lift the arms up, breathing in, hands come together and come to your heart chakra. You actually should feel fairly energized. We've released in some areas that we don't normally release tension or blocked energy, and we did our lovely 4 thumbs at the beginning of class, so you should feel kind of energized. Have a great rest of the day.